Have you ever felt just utterly exhausted by your own mind? You know, that endless chatter, the constant analyzing, the desperate search for a moment of quiet that just never seems to arrive? Well, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to gently unravel a profound and honestly incredibly liberating perspective on meditation and inner peace. And it comes directly from the philosophy of Alan Watts. Let's dive right in, because what we're going to explore here isn't about adding yet another strenuous, stressful routine to your life. It's really about the absolute freedom of just letting go. I want you to take a breath right now and really ask yourself, are you trapped in your own mind? Do you feel burdened by the sheer weight of overthinking? Look, so many of us are desperately searching for peace, but here's the catch. Our very search is often what creates our anxiety. We tend to treat our minds like a problem to be solved or, a wild animal to be tamed. But what if the very effort you're making to quiet your mind is the exact thing keeping it so loud? Alan Watts actually pointed out something fascinating about this modern predicament. He said that thinking is simply talking to yourself. Now really think about this for a second. If I talk all the time, I can never hear what anyone else has to say, right? Consequently, if you talk to yourself all the time, well, you have absolutely nothing to think about except thoughts. There's no interval where you can actually come into touch with reality. We end up living entirely in a world of total abstraction, completely divorced from the physical, present moment. And this brings us to a massive illusion we basically all carry around: the ego. We always assume there's a thinker behind our thoughts or a feeler behind our feelings. But Watts suggests something radical. He says that the thinker is actually just another thought. It's just an idea, a reference point we've completely invented. And believing in this separate thinker creates a really painful gap between the knower and the known. It cuts us off from our own direct experience and creates this deep sense of alienation from the world around us. So the crucial point here is this rather shocking paradox. You cannot meditate. Let me say that again with some emphasis, just as Watts did. You cannot meditate. Why? Well, because the you that's trying to meditate, your ego, is fundamentally just a complex of clinging to oneself. The ego cannot possibly let go of itself. It can't improve itself because it is the very thing in need of improvement. You simply cannot force a state of profound peace through sheer willpower. It just doesn't work that way. To really grasp this, Watts offers one of the most vivid and helpful metaphors you'll probably ever hear. He says trying to forcefully repress your thoughts or forcefully quiet your mind is like trying to smooth rough water with a flat iron. Just picture that for a second. You're only going to disturb the water all the more. Trying to force your mind into silence is literally an act of violence against your own consciousness. It's completely futile. So if we can't force it, what do? Well, we shift our approach entirely. Which brings us to the first big shift: the symphony of sounds, or simply listening to what is. You see, the easiest way to enter into a state of meditation isn't by struggling at all. It's simply by listening to what's happening right now. We begin by treating the world around us as a grand, unfolding symphony. Let's subvert the expectation of a rigorous, strict meditation routine. Actually, I invite you to try this right now, wherever you happen to be. Just close your eyes for a brief moment and listen to the random sounds in the room. The hum of the refrigerator, maybe a distant car, the general buzz of the world. Don't identify the sources. Don't put labels on them. Don't judge them as good or bad sounds. Just allow them to play with your eardrums, almost as if you were listening to music, and let them go. Now, as you do this, something completely inevitable is going to happen. You're going to start thinking. You'll start naming the sounds. But here is the real secret. Treat your own internal, chattering thoughts exactly like those external sounds. Treat them like birds chattering outside a window or cars driving by. Don't repress them, just watch them. Soon, you're going to find that the so-called outside world and the inside world begin to merge. They're all just one continuous happening, and all you are doing is simply watching it unfold. This idea of a continuous happening perfectly introduces our next focus, the secret of the breath, which acts as the ultimate bridge of experience. Once you're listening to the happening of the outside world, you'll start to notice another happening continuously unfolding right inside you, your breath. The breath is truly the ultimate bridge of human experience. So I want to ask you directly, right now, notice your breath. Don't change it, just watch it. And as you observe it, ask yourself this really curious question. Are you breathing, or is it breathing you? It brings us to a fascinating realization about the curious, dual nature of breath. On the one hand, you feel like you're voluntarily doing it, right? Just like walking or talking.
But on the other hand, when you stop thinking about it, it just happens to you involuntarily. Watching your breath actually proves that the hard, fast division we make between what we do and what happens to us is totally arbitrary. It is all just one unified happening. To really feel this, let's look at exactly how Watts describes the breath of relaxation. When you breathe out, don't force it. Let the breath fall out completely. Dropping, out. I want you to emulate the exact physical sensation of being utterly exhausted and sinking heavily into a profoundly comfortable bed. Let yourself get incredibly heavy. And when the breath is thoroughly out and it feels like coming back, don't pull it, just let it fall back in. By doing this, your breath naturally becomes deeper, slower, and incredibly powerful, all without a single ounce of strained effort. And from that space of effortless breathing, we arrive at an even bigger realization. You are the universe, an expression of one great energy. Now, we're going to expand this realization from the gentle rhythm of your breath to the entire cosmos. Because as you realize that your internal actions and external happenings are one, you realize something truly breathtaking. You are the universe. It's your eyes that turn the sun into light. It's your eardrums that turn vibrations into sound. You're not a passive witness. You are actively creating the world in this very second. To ground this abstract idea, Watts draws on Eastern concepts, specifically the idea of tata, or suchness. Basically, this represents the single, fundamental energy of the universe. It's the understanding that the entire world is one continuous, fluid happening. It's an on and off system, much like the yin and the yang, a system of crests and troughs, solids and spaces. You are a direct expression of this exact unbroken energy. Watts loved to quote the poet William Blake, who famously said, "Energy is eternal delight." You see, when you wake up to the fact that you're really just a playing of this one cosmic energy, that the universe is, in a sense, playing at being you for a little while, a massive weight just lifts right off your shoulders. Realizing you're simply the universe playing completely relieves us of the fundamental terror of existence. There's nothing to fear because you belong here inherently.
So, how do we take this into our daily lives? Let's talk about living without hang-ups and learning to drift like a cloud. As we reach the culmination of this explainer, the real question becomes, how on earth do we carry this fluid, water-like awareness into our incredibly busy, modern everyday lives? Well, the ancient philosopher Chuang-Tzu offered this stunning metaphor. He said, "The perfect man employs his mind as a mirror. It grasps nothing. It refuses nothing. It receives but does not keep." Just let the cadence of those words sink in for a moment. To experience life beautifully, you must allow life to reflect off you without clinging to it. You experience the joy, the sadness, the noise, and the silence, but you don't forcefully try to keep any of it. And this brings us to our final guiding thought. To survive the turbulent waters of modern confusion and daily stress, you simply cannot try to grab onto the water. If you fight the water, you're going to drown. You must relax, let go, give yourself to the water, and allow it to hold you up. You have to learn to float like water and drift like a cloud, fully embracing the magnificent, transient illusion of life without any of the hang-ups. So, what's your biggest takeaway from this journey? I really encourage you to carry this tranquility with you today. Just listen to the world as a symphony and let your breath breathe you. If this explainer helped you find a moment of peace, please go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel so we can continue exploring profound ideas like this together. And I'd absolutely love to hear from you. Head down to the comments and share your own experience with mindfulness or the art of letting go. As you go about your day, I'll leave you with this final, provocative thought. What if the profound peace you've been desperately searching for is already hiding inside the very noises of your mind? Until next time, remember to just let it all be a beautiful happening.